The world can be a dangerous place. Gear up with the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. Equipping your firearm with laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com and receive a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge. Crimson Trace.
Broadcasting nationwide, this is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of gun talk. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
Alrighty. We're still talking about this thing with Dick Metcalf. Unbelievable column he's written in Guns and Ammo magazine where he says it's okay to have some restrictions on your gun rights because those aren't really infringements. What? Yeah, I know. I go, what? Dick Metcalf he's a top gun writer. He's the dean of gun writers at Guns and Ammo magazine. He's been around a long, long time. Now, Dick is a hunter. He comes out of that hunting background. He does own a shooting range. It's on his farm in Illinois where they do a lot of competition shooting. He did get into and started covering the tactical self-defense stuff, but my feeling has always been at its core he's a hunter. That's neither here nor there, but you can use that information as you will to try to formulate an opinion of what happened here. Where he says, some people don't think this is an infringement, or they don't see it as a problem. What struck me about this whole thing as I'm sitting there reading it and I'm going, this is not well done. This is poor writing, and I say that as someone who's written thousands of articles and been an editor of a number of top magazines. An editor should have gotten a hold of this and massaged it and done something with it, or maybe even kicked it back to him and said, Dick, you need to make another pass at this. But they don't really do that anymore at Guns and Ammo. I remember I was a young editor at American Hunter magazine for the NRA, and they knew what they were doing. They were setting me up. And I got an article from Charlie Askins, who was an irascible son of a gun. And it was bad. It was just terrible. So they said, well, just send it back to him. I asked Charlie to do it again. Well, they knew what they were doing. So I sent it back to him and said, Charlie, could you make another pass at this? Or, here, and here's some other parts. And I got it back absolutely unchanged with a little note pinned to it. It says, Dear Tom, I do not rewrite my work for you or any other SOB. Of course, he said it. Okay, there you go. Just a little background. One of the things I love being able to do is bring you really good trainers, because what trainers do is certainly they will teach you to shoot. They will teach you self-defense techniques. They will teach you how to move, how to shoot, how to clear malfunctions, how to do a lot of things, but mainly what they teach you to do. If they're good, the good trainers, what they really teach you to do is to think. Because thinking is how you get out of these situations. Thinking is how you win. Thinking is how you extricate yourself. Thinking is how you avoid it in the first place. And it's a real pleasure to bring in Wes Doss right now from Khyber Training. I had a chance to chat with Wes. Hey, Wes, so we were chatting at the Excess Sights Gala in Dallas a few days ago, and you were telling me these stories about this tour you just did, and I said, you got to tell everybody about this thing. How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I am good. What was this national tour you just completed? Or I guess you've completed it now.
Yeah, we just wrapped it up. Our final stop was a little over a week ago with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department on their range in Santa Clarita. And the tour was 19 host agencies over a 9-month time frame called the Light, Sights, and Lasers U.S. Tour. And we took us all the way from Hawaii to Alaska, up and down the eastern seaboard, all throughout the Midwest, all throughout the Southwest. And put us in contact with several thousand police officers, sheriff's deputies, law enforcement professionals, as well as several hundred law enforcement agencies.
I like light sights and lasers. It's not light sights or lasers. It's not like you're going to use lasers or sights. You use the tool you need for this particular situation.
Well, absolutely. And you've got 3 somewhat misunderstood product categories with light sights and lasers. A lot of people look at sights on a gun. Every gun comes with a set of sights. They kind of dismiss the value of different types of sighting systems and what they really represent. Lights, what we're finding out is that most departments have minimized the amount of low light training, diminished light training that they're doing. And then lasers, of course, you know this as well as I do. It's still a poorly embraced tool that a lot of folks still just don't understand.
So you were telling me stories without identifying any particular agency, which I don't think would be fair. You might just give folks an example of some particularly poor techniques being used with weapon-mounted lights, a light on your firearm that you ran into.
Yeah, you know what we found consistently, and obviously I don't have the data to give you a hard percentage, but if I was going to guess based on the sampling we took, we're looking at somewhere between maybe 1% and 3% of the agencies out there actually provide initial and then ongoing training on the use of a weapons-mounted light. A lot of places simply buy it, issue it, and figure, well, the problem's solved. And, you've got a device that requires some cognitive thought to get up there and actually activate, turn it on, turn it off, and exactly what its application's for. We found really, really a lack of really quality low-light training that was out there, even for the handheld lights.
Well, now, you were telling me, and we hear people say, well, gee, if you've got a light on your gun, then everything you point the light at, you're pointing your gun at, and then you're pointing your gun at people. That's not a hardware problem. That's a software problem, right?
Right, absolutely. And, we have in law enforcement, we've got a series of, they're tragedies, but they're teaching points. We have a collection of these captured dashboard videos that we use for in classes that are well-known documented tragedies. And there's the one there from Texas, where the Texas constable was killed alongside the road several years ago. And this man holds a flashlight and a radio in his hand the entire time he's being engaged, and he never lets go of them. He never uses them. We're creatures of habit. We get used to, if we don't already have a tool in our hands when a fight begins, the chances of us going to it are almost, 1,000,000 to 1. And if we don't have any training on how to apply it when it's necessary and not apply it when it's not necessary, it's just really an encumbrance.
For the average person who is not a police officer, is not doing building entries and all, but might have to move through a home or might be in a low light situation somewhere, what do you recommend? Because you've trained a gob of people through the years. What do you recommend in terms of either handheld or weapon mounted? And it could be either handgun or long gun.
Well, the weapons mounted comes into its own on a long gun because of just the manipulation of especially on a pump shotgun. You've got tools that it's just hard to manage two separate tools in your hands at the same time.
Right.
But I'm a big fan of both. But the whole concept here is that a handheld light is fantastic to search with. A weapons-mounted light is fantastic once you have found something to point that weapon at. And a lot of people go one or the other. And if I was going to steer anybody to one system versus another system, I would always gravitate to the handheld, the non-dedicated light, just because it's simpler, it's easier, and it gives you basically two tools in one.
And, of course, in order to use it, you need to get some training. And, it's interesting, isn't it not, that we always end up saying at the end, but, of course, you have to get some training, because none of this stuff is instinctive.
Correct.
It's not intuitive.
We've got a disparity in training, too. We have people that will, and law enforcement's the same way as the civilian world is in terms of, things that we buy. We'll spend $2,000 on a pistol, and we'll buy all the tactical clothing and regalia, and we'll put it in a $19 holster, and we'll buy a $10 flashlight. There's relevance in tools, and
right.
Having quality equipment comes quality training, quality responsibility as well.
I'm thinking about how lucky we are now to have the LED lights we have from all the brands, and the stuff we had even 5-10 years ago where you would drop your flashlight and it would break. You drop it on the concrete from waist high and it would break. Now you can throw it across the room and smash it into something and it won't break.
Well, yeah, and I've got much less chance of melting the foam in my Pelican case now with the LEDs than I used to with some of the...
Oh, that sounds like the voice of experience. Did you really do that?
Well, almost everybody that's ever worked for an agency, you come off of a call out, you've been up for hours, waiting outside somebody's door, and then all your gear goes back into a gear bag in the trunk of your car, and inevitably somebody's flashlight's still on, and you come back and, the inside of a Pelican case is melted or
Sure.
or a gun case has got a burn on it from a high temperature flashlight.
What should somebody look for in a trainer or organization if they say, okay, I get it, I understand it, I want to get me some low light training? How do you find the right person? What are you looking for?
Well, I would advocate that you look for somebody who understands all the use and application of that light. If it's low light training you're after, somebody who's going to instruct you to consider all the applications of that light, from the time you pick it up to the time that you finally utilize it in conjunction with a firearm. What got us to that point? All that has to be explained. As somebody who understands what's the dynamics that are going to take place in that situation as well, because it's not just so cut and dry that you walk up, point a flashlight at a target, shoot the target, and that becomes low light training for most people. There's a whole other gamut to manipulating yourself and maneuvering in darkness to where that light can either be of benefit or be dangerous.
So you don't necessarily have it on all the time. You introduce the concept of light discipline. You understand you should be getting training on what light does. If you're shining it down at the floor, it's bouncing up and around. It actually goes deeper into other rooms than you think it does. And then, of course, the whole manipulation of firearms while you're holding a light. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that goes in there. I guess what I should do is direct people. They need to know about your operation, Khyber Training. It's KHYBER training.com, KhyberTraining.com. Do you take your show on the road? Are you available for training?
We are. We're based out of northwestern Arizona, actually right on the border of Nevada and Arizona. Mm-hmm. But we operate off of several facilities around the country annually. We have bases of operation that host us in Florida, through Texas, Nevada, literally regionally all over the United States.
Oh, okay. So they can train with you. They could either go to Arizona or they could connect. And I guess on the website it'll tell you where you're going to be showing up.
Absolutely. We're actually getting ready to stand up a facility in Las Vegas with one of the existing range complexes in Las Vegas. So that'll be more of a permanent base of operation. We're only 90 minutes from Las Vegas, where we're located at.
Well,
so that would be
Vegas
the closest one for us.
Yeah, and Vegas is easy to get to from anywhere.
Easy to get to, cheap flights, easy to stay there, easy to keep yourself fed, and it's a very Second Amendment friendly area.
There you go. Hey, Wes, I appreciate it. Wes Doss with Khyber Training. Again, it's KHYBER training.com. Keep us posted on what you're up to, okay?
I will, Tom. I appreciate it.
All right, you take care. Good training is the most important thing. I mean, forget, if you think you have, okay, I've got a couple of guns, I got a few guns. Let me put it this way. Maybe your next gun or two really shouldn't be a gun at all. Maybe your next gun or two should be training. All right, when we come back, we're talking about Dick Metcalf, Guns and Ammo columnist. He's one of their chief writers. And he says that restrictions on your gun rights do not infringe the Second Amendment. In a stunning piece on the back page in the December Guns and Ammo magazine. Our number, 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
Home invasions happen anytime, day or night. Do you have a firearm close by? You can. And still keep it secure with one of the great wall safes from Console Vault. Plate steel construction, 2 levels of security, and models which hide in plain sight. Install 2 or 3 around the house. Always nearby, but secure. Lock, but quick to open. Visit consolevault.com. That's CONSOLE vault.com.
The Ruger American Rifle is a 100% American-made firearm that offers outstanding performance at a great price. Available in standard size and compact models, it features power bedding integral bedding blocks, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, a flush-fit 4-round rotary magazine, and a 3-lug bolt with 70-degree throw. Compact models feature a shorter length of pull and a shorter barrel for a reduction in overall length of more than 5 inches. The Ruger American Rifle, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
Hi, I'm Tom Gresham. For more than 40 years, I've been watching an environmental disaster in my backyard, and it actually impacts all sportsmen in America. I'm talking about the massive loss of land on the Louisiana coastline. The U.S. Geological Survey said the swamps and marshes of coastal Louisiana are among the nation's most fragile and valuable wetlands. That land is disappearing. The Mississippi River Delta hosts as many as 10 million ducks and geese every winter. These are birds which migrate northward through the states, all the way to Canada. The wetlands of the Delta support some of America's best fresh and saltwater fishing. And here's the deal. The wetlands of the Mississippi River Delta are disappearing at a rate of 1 football field every hour. 1 football field every hour. Gone. We can reconnect the river with its wetlands and restore the Delta, but we need your help. Please visit vanishingparadise.org. That's vanishingparadise.org.
Get a grip on your AR rifle, an Ergo Grip. For maximum control, comfort, and accuracy, you need the grip that's ergonomically designed for the human hand. Ergo Grips come on some of the best factory ARs. Now you can upgrade your own rifle with a great grip. At ErgoGrips.net, you'll also find accessories for your rifles and handguns. Shoot better, get comfortable. ErgoGrips.net. ERGO Grips.net.
Be a more accurate and confident shooter. Get a Crimson Trace laser and light. If you're holding it, you're aiming it. That's called instinctive activation. Crimson Trace invented it. Get the best deal on Crimson Trace lasers and lights at OpticsPlanet.com. Optics Planet carries thousands of rifle scopes, red dot sights, holsters, safes, knives, apparel, and the full line of Crimson Trace lasers and lights at OpticsPlanet.com.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, we're going to take your calls, your comments, your thoughts on this and other things. If there's a gun you want to tell me about or you got a question about a particular caliber, you bet, call me. Had somebody just drop me a note, wanting to know about the 38 Super. Not a particularly popular caliber, handgun caliber, but it is pretty slick in semi-auto. So it's something that I'll tell you what, at some point we'll get somebody on who is an expert in the 38 Super, and we'll talk about that just a bit. All right, line 1, BP is calling in from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hello, BP.
Yes, I have a question. Several shows back, you made the statement that 223 is a good home defense weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a full metal jacket round or a soft-nosed polymer tip?
Well, either of them will work. I would prefer a soft point for a couple of reasons. I think it would probably be better at doing an immediate stopping job of an attacker. Somebody's trying to cut your head off. I think a soft jacket would work better. So that'd be my choice. But if pressed, I would use FMJs. I'd use whatever I had.
Yeah, you'd use an example of sheetrock. How many pieces of sheetrock that it would go through before it turned sideways and fell down?
We did some testing with full metal jacket out of 223, out of an AR-15, and we built false walls, and each wall had 2 sheets of sheetrock, 2 pieces of sheetrock, and it was about 4 inches apart, and we had them on studs, 2x4s, so it was the correct distance and all. And what we found is we could not reliably get penetration through the second full wall, which would be 4 pieces of sheetrock, with a full metal jacket 223. It would they would almost inevitably turn sideways, start to yaw, and come apart, and we couldn't get them to penetrate the third wall at all. We never got a 223 to go through the third wall. Now, handgun bullets would go right through all 3 walls. Shotgun slugs, of course, would. Buckshot would go through all 3 walls. Birdshot would not. 223s would not. So, yeah, good point. Conversely, you don't want to be standing behind the second wall. Remember that all that stuff goes through there, so sheetrock is not cover, it is only concealment. But anyway, that's our testing. That's what we found on that. Thanks for that call, BP. I appreciate that. Richard's on 4 out of Oregon. Hey, Richard, thanks for calling.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. What do you think about Metcalf?
Not much at all. I think that he has a right to say what he wants to say because of the Constitution, and I have the right not to buy the magazine anymore. I think it's just wrong that he said it. When he compares the Second Amendment to a driver's license, which makes no sense at all.
Yep.
The Second Amendment is my right. Driving is a privilege. They can take that away from me anytime they want. The Second Amendment they can't take away from you.
It's interesting you say that because for, 50-plus years, the anti-gunners have always used that argument. Well, you register your car. Why don't you want to register your guns? You have to have a license to drive a car. Why shouldn't you have to have a license to have a gun? And we've been saying exactly what you said. Look, one is a privilege. Cars are a privilege. Having a gun is a right that preexisted the formation of this country. You don't have the ability legally to restrict my right to own a gun. Now, I know that you try. So I just cannot understand for the life of me why he would dredge up the arguments of the anti-gunners and present them as his way of what? Trying to say that he's more evolved, smarter than the rest of us, more reasonable, more I don't know, but it's just, this is crazy. It's just crazy talk. I don't know what he's up to here. Richard, thank you for your comments. I think you're right on the money there. Line 3, Lonnie is in Jasper, Wyoming. Hello, Lonnie. Say again?
Hello, Tom. Finally got through to you.
Oh, good. Glad you got in. What do you think's going on here?
Well, I'm wondering if Obama or some paid him off, or if somebody's got something on him and he's trying to be with him. I mean, I used to subscribe to Guns and Ammo, and I read his column for quite a while, and it just seemed like it's more and more leaning toward the anti-gunners. And out here in Wyoming, it don't set too well.
No, I would imagine it wouldn't. Well, I'm going to tell you, Lonnie, it's not going to set too well anywhere. I can't imagine any gun owner who's going to look at this and feel good about it. I mean, there may be a few who say, well, yeah, the same ones who said, I don't belong to the NRA, and I just think that those guns are too ugly, and I don't know why anybody would want to own that, not understanding that, of course, all guns function the same, and their semi-automatic shotgun works the same as a semi-automatic AR-15, and the gun banners trust me on this one. The gun banners don't want just your AR. They want everything in your gun safe.
Tom Gresham's Gun Talk is broadcast nationwide every Sunday. If you can't hear Gun Talk where you live, call your local talk format station and clue them in on Gun Talk. Stay tuned. We're coming right back. Now broadcasting nationwide on radio, via satellite, and through downloads, iTunes, the Gun Talk app, and other podcast clients. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
We're back with you. Tom Gresham here. Our number is 866-825-5486. I was at the National Association of Sporting Goods Wholesalers show in Dallas last few days. I'm currently right up there in the Kansas City area on the road. Be heading back to the house, tomorrow. And got some more projects going we'll be telling you about. Maybe some more TV shows about guns. We'll see how that all develops. Got some things in development, as they say. Yeah, a lot of fun. But in the course of going through the Sporting Goods Wholesaler show, I got to talk with a lot of different shooters, gun owners, gun companies. There is a growing interest in the 6.5s, it appears, rifles chambered for the 6.5 or 264 caliber bullets. Very nice for long-range shooting, particularly when you get something down like the 260 Remington size. Not a lot of recoil, mighty handy. So I think we're going to see more development along those lines. There's a new 25 caliber cartridge going to be introduced for use in the AR-15. That one's going to be kind of fun. Essentially reproducing the 257 Roberts in an AR-15. And we'll have more information about that in a few weeks when they say it's okay for us to talk about it just a wee bit more. Right now we're talking about this very surprising development. Dick Metcalf, writer for Guns and Ammo, coming out and saying that how do you put it exactly? Regulation of firearms are not infringements on your gun rights. So he said specifically the 16-hour course that Illinois is requiring for concealed carry, he does not consider that to be an infringement. And I do. I just differ with him. He said, well, that's just me. Okay, I get it. That's just you. I disagree. I think when the government says you have to jump over this hoop and through this hoop and around this thing, and you got to do this thing, and you got to pay this much money to exercise your constitutional rights, it's no longer a right. It is a privilege because you don't get to do it unless you do what they say. If they say you have to stand on 1 foot for 12 hours, then you have to stand on 1 foot for 12 hours. Once you agree that they can tell you what you have to do to exercise your rights, you're agreeing that they can tell you anything. You're saying that they have the ability and the power, if not the right, but at least the power, to require any kind of action on your part to be able to exercise your Second Amendment, or maybe your First Amendment right, or maybe exercise your Fourth Amendment rights. It is unbelievable. I don't know what Dick Metcalf was thinking about this. As I say, I've known Dick a long time. I've done some work with him. I just don't know. And for the record, we have invited Dick to be on. We only started doing that a couple of hours before the show. We will invite him to be on next week if he would like to join us and just talk about what he wrote. In the meantime, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. 866-TALK-GUNS, get you in here. On line 2 is Rex. He's in Palmer, Alaska. Hello, Rex. I know you have an opinion on this deal with Metcalf.
Well, sounds a whole lot like a guy announcing his retirement, for gun writer.
Well, it may turn out that way, whether it was intended that way or not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's puzzling. It is. This is not like some guy who didn't get it. He doesn't. This is a guy who knows AR-15s. He understands the landscape of the gun rights movement. He's been there a long time. That's why I know you can hear it in my voice. I am puzzled by it, and it's also why I'm not immediately jumping in and saying, well, gee, we should pummel this guy. We should, keel haul him and all that, which is what a lot of people on the internet are saying, but that's part of the internet thrust. At the same time, I'm looking at it and going, I'm very tempted to say that just because you're saying you simply restated as legitimate a lot of the arguments of the gun banners through the years. That's what Metcalf has done. He says if you don't consider it to be an infringement to get a license for your car or to get a driver's license, then you shouldn't consider it to be an infringement on your Second Amendment rights to get a license for your gun or to go through all of this training. And I just think the two are completely non-interchangeable. They're not comparable at all. So I just disagree completely. Line 1, Mike is in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Mike, tell me about this ammo or the brass you picked up.
Yes, at one of the local gun shows, they had some brass in and, little plastic baggies, about 50 rounds apiece. And so I thought, well, try it for reload. Okay. But I noticed on some of it, it's got a little ding below the neck down on the main casing. And I was told that's from the automatic fire weapons that the military uses.
Probably, yeah.
That little ding, is that going to, would you get with some of your experts and find out whether that's any good for me before I buy more? Or
it'll be fine. Here's what's going to happen.
Okay.
When you reload it and shoot it, that ding is going to fire form to the inside of your case, your chamber in your rifle. That dent will come out. It'll come out looking pretty. But now here's the one thing I need to ask you. Are you familiar with crimped primer pockets?
No, sir, not at all, I'm afraid.
Okay. Military ammo, much military ammo has a crimped primer pocket. They actually crimp the primer into the primer pocket, to keep it from coming out, especially with machine gun loads. So you may have to work a little harder to knock the primer out. And then when you do, and this is a one-time deal only, you need to remount the primer pockets. And they make a little tool. It's anywhere from $15 to $19. It's called a primer pocket reamer. And all it does is just cuts away a little bit of metal and opens up that primer pocket. And you only do it once because now at that point you've conditioned this case properly, and you'll be able to reload it and it will work just fine. But chances are this military brass has crimped primer pockets, so you need to pick up a primer pocket reamer, and then you'll be good to go.
All right, now that's the primer, but I'm talking, up above the...
I know. We're talking two different things. Forget the dent. The dent's fine. It's going to be okay. What I don't want you to do, though, is to start trying to reload these without reaming out the primer pocket, because you'll have a problem.
Okay, understandable. Great. Thank you.
Okay, no, the ding's fine. That's going to come out, and you'll never see it again.
All right. Will I still be able to reload it several different times?
112 times, exactly.
Okay, great.
I have no idea, but you could probably get 10 or 20 out of it anyway. Okay, good luck. Line 4, Jerome is in Utah. Hey, Jerome.
Yeah, I couldn't find the original article, but I did find the comment stream. It was in the Shooter magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And the readers went ballistic.
Yes, indeed.
About 2/3 of them siding with the original definition of regulated. So
yeah, I mean that's just well established, as they say. It's the definition of regulated.
Itself, I was surprised. You had a lot of good articles in it.
Yeah, I mean, Dick's written a lot of good stuff. So I don't know what's going on here. I really don't. But if you want to see it, I couldn't find it on the Guns and Ammo website. But if you go to thetruthaboutguns.com, again, it's thetruthaboutguns.com. You can find it there and a write up on that and see what I'm talking about. Tell you what, if you have a reloading question, shooting question, or you're thinking about getting a gun for self-defense and you're trying to figure out not only which kind but what caliber, I am happy to help with all of that. Just give me a holler, 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial 1 and then Tom Talk Gun. I'll be happy to answer.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at galleryofguns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. GalleryofGuns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
There's a rise in home invasions in America, and you need to be ready. Ready to protect yourself and your family. The bedside backup from Crossbreed Holsters keeps your gun at your bedside, ready to go. It also folds flat for easy storage and travel. Take it with you and use with any hotel bed. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com. The bedside backup is not a child safety device.
An exciting breakthrough from Mossberg lets you customize your 500 pump-action shotgun in seconds. Get a better fit. Add features. Mossberg's Flex System lets you swap out stocks, fore ends, and recoil pads. Want a pistol grip? Got it. Longer or shorter stock? No problem. Go from hunting to tactical and home defense in seconds. From black to camo and back. Now available on the MVP bolt-action rifle. For details, visit flexyourmossberg.com.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now Gun Talk presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At ShopGunTalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
One machine, one operator. Each machine is run by a single pair of hands. Hands that spend all day, every day, learning the machine inside and out. We don't believe in quotas. The point is crafting faultless ammunition, no matter how long that takes. It's not quick or easy. Being the best never is. Black Hills Ammunition. It started with our hands.
You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, the original nationally syndicated radio talk show about firearms, shooting, and your Second Amendment rights.
Putting more guns in people's hands actually does them a service.
Give Tom a call at 1-866-825-5486. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUNS, or email tom@guntalk.com.
They're there to protect us.
Now, back to Gun Talk. Here's Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. Just writing a note here. A lot of people are drawing correlation between, or a comparison at least, between the Dick Metcalf column and the Jim Zumbo column from several years ago, which caused him so much problem. And Jim clearly had never used an AR-15. He said he'd never actually seen one used in the field at all. Didn't know anything about them. He had spouted off on it, and it cost him a lot of his career. He became an advocate and a proponent of using AR-15s for a lot of different things. It was an amazing transformation, and not just because he needed to do that for his career, but because I think it was an honest transformation. I'm going to have to ask Zumbo for his take on this. We may even try to get him on the show next week. Holy cow. Crazy stuff. This is crazy town, is what this is. This whole Dick Metcalf thing. I just do not get it, what he's thinking about this. But anyway, we will invite Dick on next week. We tried to get him on this week. Just weren't able to hear back from him. And he may be busy and out of town. I don't know. I'm just trying to be fair to him, okay? Line 3, Don's with us, Huntsville, Alabama. Hello, Don. What do you think about this deal with Metcalf? Or actually, now that I'm looking at it, you got a story about somebody you taught to shoot. Tell me about this.
Yeah, I won't ever buy another magazine, but I don't want to get into that. Okay. A friend of mine is a registered nurse. She shot with me a whole bunch of times. She used to be a liberal, but she learned to write self-defense and everything. And Halloween night, a man cut her screen out of her window and broke in a window. And I gave her a 38th Detective Special about a month ago, and she emptied 6 rounds of hollow points in him. Saved her life.
Did she hit him?
She hit him 6 times, dead center in the chest with it.
Son of a gun. So he's breaking in, cut her screen out. He's coming in the house.
Came in the window, came in the room. He was asleep. She kept it under her pillow. She grabbed that 38 and popped off 6 rounds of mushroom and hollow points. Good federal shock hollow points. She put 6 rounds dead center in his chest. Well,
I'm guessing that she's probably not anti-gun anymore.
Heck no. She got out of she started shooting with me. I started taking her out and shooting everything. I told her she needed to learn how to defend yourself and everything. And I taught her how to shoot here it's been about a year ago. She shot with me for but she shot with me a whole lot about a year or so ago. And
right.
She turned around on her opinion on guns and everything.
Well, that is amazing. And look, good job on you. I mean, a great big attaboy. I'll take
45.
Yeah, well, look, it's an attaboy on you on taking her out and letting her shoot. Saved her life more than likely. At the very, more than likely. This guy's breaking in. He's cutting the screen. He's inside the house. She shoots him. It's interesting. I hear stories like this all the time now. A lot of them come off of the video series we did. It's up now. You can watch it for free on YouTube. It's called First Person Defender, where we put real people into self-defense situations and see how it all develops. And then we train them up and let them try it again and see how much they improve. I cannot even begin to tell you how many people have contacted me and said, I watched all this, I liked it, all men, and said, and then I had my wife watch one of them, just one, and then she sat and watched every single one of them. We have 14 episodes up. And she changed her mind, and it's like, okay, fill in the blank. She changed her mind about 1, having guns in the house, 2, getting some training herself, 3, getting her carry permit, 4, starting to carry even though she had a permit and didn't carry. And then we have the stories of the women who did all that, and then they ended up having to use a gun in self-defense to protect her, or in one case, to protect their 8-year-old daughter who was being chased by a pit bull, and she ran out and killed this dog. I would encourage you, because I know it saves lives. I know it will save some lives. Encourage as many people as you can to go take a look at this series. It's called First Person Defender. It's on YouTube. You just go on YouTube and do a search for First Person Defender, and you'll see what we're talking about. I know you'll enjoy it, and it may save someone you love.
Join the NRA via Tom Gresham's Gun Talk website and receive $10 off the regular membership price. Log on to guntalk.com for details. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Tom would like to remind you that if you have a friend or relative who can't hear Gun Talk locally, many of our stations offer live streaming. Tell them to go to guntalk.com and click the listen button. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
Just got an email. Randy, appreciate that. He says when Metcalf took over writing the back page, he announced he was going to be politically incorrect and opinionated like his predecessors Elmer Keith and Jeff Cooper. Possibly he's just trying to be controversial. Well, I think he achieved that goal. Wow. Saying that gun regulations and regulations that restrict firearms ownership and access to guns and make it tougher to get a concealed carry permit are not restrictions on your rights. It's totally bizarro land. It's upside down thinking. It's exactly what the gun banners have been saying all along. Exactly. And this from Guns and Ammo magazine. This from a noted longtime gun writer. I don't know. It's just nuts. Line 1, Ron is with us out of Snowflake, Arizona. Hey, Ron, what do you think about this thing?
Well, I'd like to see Jim come on the radio and then teach us about what he learned, lessons learned.
Jim Zumbo?
Yes.
Okay.
And maybe if you can get Dick on the show, great. Maybe he can learn something from Jim Zumbo.
Well, and as I said, I've issued an invitation, but to be fair, I mean, the guy may be out shooting. He may be on a hunt somewhere. I don't know. More than likely, he's on a hunt, and he didn't get my note, and that's fine. I'm not going to say, gosh, he didn't respond or anything. But I'm going to try, and we'll see if we can get Dick Metcalf on next week or the next, whenever he can come on. I think it's a good idea. I'm going to invite Zumbo to come on and kind of give his perspective as a guy who's been through this, made this mistake, and come back from it. Wow. Does this thing leave you like me just kind of, I want to be mad, but I am more puzzled, but just curious and puzzled by the whole thing.
I agree. I think we could learn a lot from Jim Zumbo.
Well, I think you're right. Now I do know, and I don't know that this ever really came out. In Zumbo's case, it was something he wrote for online, and the guys at the website kept telling him, "You got to be edgy, man. You got to get out there. You got to push it. You got to say something controversial. You got to stir it up." Well, it didn't affect them, did it?
No.
Yeah. See, I mean, you got to be careful about when somebody, an editor, a producer, a director, is telling you, "Yeah, just go ahead. Stand up there and take your clothes off in front of the world. It'll be great. It'll raise the ratings." Yeah, well, good for him, not for the guys doing it. I have no idea if that's what happened in Metcalf's case. I know it is what happened in Zumbo's case, and he just didn't think it through. He's thinking, yeah, this will be edgy, because Zumbo's so old school. He's trying to figure out the internet at the same time he's trying to figure out what these semi-auto rifles are. He just got caught in the middle of it. But I'll try that. I will actually extend those invitations, Ron. It's a good idea. I appreciate that. In the meantime, this may be a good teachable moment, one of those opportunities where people go, okay, let me review. So each of us can do a little review, go back and do a little reading on the Second Amendment, what it meant, what it means. Just a refresher, it is not a right given to us by the government. It is a right that pre-existed the foundation of this country. That's what the Second Amendment and the First Amendment were, and the Bill of Rights. And all we did was we wrote them down, 10 amendments to the Constitution, and said, we have these rights irrespective of the Constitution. The Constitution does not give us these rights. We just want to make sure that there's a list here that you guys know you keep your cotton-picking hands off of these. And a note to Dick Metcalf, gun regulation is, in fact, gun restriction and infringement on your rights. We'll see you next week. Hey, take somebody shooting.